cameras, action. Now let's engage in the dialogue. Let me browse through your mind like a catalog. Conscious metaphysics, allow me to break down the specifics. Educate, motivate. If you don't feel free, you can liberate. An LLC is what I'm building, the #1 podcast in the building. So let me slide on up in the Bentley truck in my Versace shirts. They can't get enough of this deep conversation, expansion, elevation. I'll send you a link you can tap in. It ain't quite what I used to do back then. Now I get it on the front and the back end. Multiple money streams keep coming in. Enlightened, empower, evolve. Enlightened, empower, evolve.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I know everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again because I have another spectacular, amazing guest today who is a licensed mental health counselor, spiritual healer, and author, and a whole lot more. Without further ado, I introduce to you Eileen Martyr Merman. How are you doing today, Eileen?
Great, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Yes. And I am a firm believer that time is one of our most precious assets. So for you to spend some of your time in the history of your life here with me, I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yes. And I just want to be, my show is like freestyle, but so I'm very transparent. So we're going to switch it up today, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever watching. I had an assistant, Chelsea, of Eileen's that sent me a few questions, and I'm going to start off with that. And if we have more time, then I'll put some of my own personalized questions on there. But I want to start out with this. Eileen, why do you think it's important for women to have their own space to share experiences and wake up to their own bullshit?
From BS.
Own BS.
Yeah. Well, women have for ages and ages, thousands and thousands of years, been repressed in many ways and have believed that they should be a certain way instead of who they are. So it makes a difference because this way they could be free to be who they are, and they could have a more vibrant life. They could be more creative. They could be happier. They could spread that in the world that way, as opposed to being repressed and not really being happy.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think it's important. I pride myself on just finding your own peace and your own happiness. And I think that's a awesome perspective in leading to your own happiness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Without that, there's always a feeling that something's missing, something just isn't right.
Right.
Not knowing who we are. I mean, whether it doesn't matter what someone's sexual orientation is, it's just how it is. So waking up to the way that we think we should be instead of who we are is it's a huge undertaking, but it's possible to do that.
Right. And I think, yes, if I might elaborate a bit on that, that's very important, because that's where the true, authentic, I think, sustained happiness materializes into your life. We all know that happiness can be fleeting, especially if we put it into other things and circumstances and other people. But when we really connect with our own authentic self, then that's when we can fill up our cup, so to speak, and pour out from that. And I think that's very important. Amazing.
Really it's really true. And it's never too late. I was, reading your bio the other day, just to get a sense of who you are and who I was meeting. And,
Right.
just like your life, me too, we, both of us realized that we were going down some treacherous paths. And we
Right.
said, wait a minute, what are we doing? It's not about being happy 100% of the time, because I think
Right.
that's realistic, because
Absolutely.
life happens, and it's not always pretty.
Right.
And if we could really allow ourselves to wake up to the ways that we're not honoring ourselves, let's say,
Right.
then, waking up to respecting ourselves and paying attention to ourselves really makes a difference.
Absolutely. Wow. I truly resonate with that. And you said one thing, and then I want to get to the next question. But you said something, you said a lot of things that I resonate with, but one in particular is life is not always, um, just fabulous and pretty. But at the same time, um, in my current level of consciousness, I've learned that no matter what's happening in life, its purpose is to help you build character, develop you in some way, even though we may not be able to see it at that particular moment. Um, and we go through these adversities that at the time, you know, feel just unbearing, overwhelming. And in hindsight, we can see that it taught us something and made us a bit wiser. And that's how I try personally to look at things now, even though it's still hard. Like you said, it's not perfect. But at the same time, I can also add that life is contrast. So yes, it's going to be up and down, and we have to learn within our mindset and a lot of what you just said to flow with it.
Yeah, as
So
best as we can, and to be kind to
yes,
ourselves, because if we're not kind to ourselves about our imperfections, then we're really in trouble.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, as a Jewish woman and mother who has built a successful career in this society, has there ever been a time where you have been scared to be your authentic self?
I would say that's quite a question in this moment in life.
Right.
Um, so when I was younger, I don't think it had anything to do with my lineage and my background. Just being a girl growing
Right.
up in the 50s and
Right.
the 60s, um, even though it was all about freedom in the 60s, my mother, my grandmothers, my great grandmothers, if you go back generations and generations, it was more about survival, how to
Right.
get through, how to, come over from Europe and establish a life over here. And, one of my families had a farm in Connecticut. Another one was involved in some type of uh, accounting, but nothing fancy. There was no money there. Um, but the women were all about, having babies, cooking and cleaning, and just not working too much. One of my grandmothers, the one that I was very close with, worked. So my mother's mother.
Right.
So that made a difference, I believe, in who I am. Um, and since we mentioned that I'm Jewish, um, with what's going on in the world with the rise of anti-Semitism, it's
Right.
been hard for me. I mean, here I am, this healer and the psychotherapist for over 45 years, and I do spiritual practices all the time, whether it's meditation. I do a lot of prayer. But what I've been doing, because I was so upset by everything that's happening, and I'm still upset a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, um, was I amped up the amount of prayer I do.
Mm.
And it's not just, I pray that there's a resolution. I pray that there's peace. I,
Right.
I want that too. But I had to really take a look at what was going on inside my heart, and become conscious of where I was consumed with the news
Right. Right.
and consumed with the terror,
Right.
and and remember who I truly am, you know, a woman of many things,
Right.
of not uh, just sorrow and fear and all of that. So I would say the development of my spiritual self and my authentic self has helped me every day,
Right.
even when I've been very angry, even when I've been very upset,
Right.
um, and so on. So that
Right.
question you asked is twofold because there's really something going on in the present, and
Oh, okay.
I talked
Yes.
about.
No, I hear you. And excuse me. um, one thing, something else that really I resonate with you on is like you said, the news. Over the course um, of the past few years, I've really gotten away from that. I mean, I want to be informed, um, but at the same time, I try not to. I notice a lot of times that the news is um, it can be very depressing, and so I have distanced myself, you know, and being in watching it basically so
Yeah.
much. So yes, but still, if you do, it's nice to be conscious, to be able to connect still with yourself and not allow it to control your emotions is basically what I'm saying. And like you said, reminding yourself of who you are. You're not just this person here, but you know, you're a very powerful person and of many, you know, dimensions and many characteristics and many strengths and yeah, I think that's very important too, that what you said, because oftentimes we, and I hope I'm not getting too far off, but we try to hold ourselves to just one way. And it's like, no, sometimes we're angry. Sometimes we're human. You know, it's the reasons why they're called emotions. We have emotions and, you know, and to be aware of those emotions and is just where the power is, I believe. But yeah,
So
just
true.
like what you just saying that you're angry or whatever, that it's okay. Some people, we have been a lot of times, especially the media and in society, and has indoctrinated us with no, once you're uh, uh, a counselor, a healer, or this, no, you can't, you don't ever get angry, you don't ever get hurt. No, that's not true. And I pride myself on that too, you know, being transparent about that. Like, you know, one of my biggest sayings is I'm a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. So that means I embrace everything, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
there are days that um, I'm sad or I'm hurt or I experience anger, but I
Yeah.
think that I'm just more aware now, and I'm able to shift myself a lot faster.
Which is really great because when we don't own those difficult emotions, we end up acting it out and hurting ourselves,
Right,
turning it inward against ourselves or outward against others.
right,
And yeah, so that's like a fundamental way that we could help spread healing in the world is by doing our own work, taking responsibility for these difficult places that we have inside of us. And it really helps to pray. You could pray,
absolutely,
you know, some people pray with religious books. I just do my own thing.
right,
So
right. I agree with you on that. I think there's no really wrong way as long as it resonates with your intuition, your soul,
yeah,
your being, and your spirit, and you can know what's really connecting with that. And if you can not allow other people to tell you what's the right or the wrong way, that's a whole different story. But yes, I
no,
agree with you on that.
but it is the story of my book in a way, right?
Right.
I think,
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
While we're on that subject, you know, what's the title of your book? And give us a little,
So
a
how I
little
think I should be is BS,
how I
is the
think I should be is BS. Wow.
right, from hiddenness to open-hearted. So you asked about me as a little girl or through my life, how
Right.
was it difficult? And, I was more hidden. I wasn't fully myself.
Right.
I I had to be different ways at different points in my life. And then, I always heard this call to wake up and pay attention. Very young, I started meditating very young. I was in college at 18, and I was meditating and I kept failing because I thought
Right.
that when you meditate, you're supposed to have no thoughts. So I failed constantly. And don't ask me why. I guess it was just my belief in a higher power or something.
Right.
And not that I would have known what that meant if we said something to me at 18, but I kept on going. Or I kept on trucking like the doodah man,
Right.
as Garcia would have said in The Grateful Dead. And I
Yay,
became,
Jerry Garcia.
although I was really angry at him that he died from drugs, from a drug overdose.
Right. Right. Yeah.
After
Hmm.
helping so many of us to wake up and be authentic and, you
Yeah.
know,
He definitely was aware. Hmm.
really was. And then
Yep.
I was so upset and I was so angry with him, but I was really so upset. And I could see him right now in my mind's eye as we're talking. So
Right.
it's sort of sweet
Yep.
to bring Jerry Garcia into all this.
Yeah. Probably a lot of younger people that are watching this, they don't know who that is, but I do.
Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead. Just look it up. You can Google it and then you can read about them. There's several. Probably, I'm sure there's a
Really,
lot of stories and articles out there on the Grateful Dead and on Jerry Garcia. So yeah,
they're
look it up.
really great, really good music. I mean, the
Right,
quality of music he did. He did
right,
but he also did that other band that he had that was more jazz.
right,
So
right. No, I'm quite familiar. Yep.
yeah,
So yeah, so your book can be found on Amazon
I think it's everywhere.
everywhere.
So what happened was I posted it on, I did whatever you do. I guess you publish it on Amazon and I published it on with another group, and the other group makes it available anywhere in the United States.
Anywhere. Right.
And a lot of people over in Europe have been able to buy it too.
Okay.
So if your local bookstore doesn't have it, you can ask them to get it. It's
Right.
available.
Right.
Um, Also, if you want to go to my website and you sign up, then you could get a free download of the book.
Right.
So
And I'll be sure to incorporate that link in the description of this segment once it's uploaded to YouTube as well as all the audible platforms as well, such as like Apple and Spotify and Pandora. So they'll be able to click down into the description and go right to that link.
sounds great.
Yes, yes. So next here, I
Yeah.
have going through multiple miscarriages and realizing you weren't able to have any more children destroyed the image you had of your life. How did you accept that and shift your mindset to accept life as what it was rather than what you thought it should be? Wow, that's deep.
It wasn't easy.
Right,
I couldn't understand. First of all, they didn't have the information back then that they do now.
right,
So, if I had some more hormones, I probably would have had another couple of kids.
right,
I had low hormones for some reason. I don't know why. Um, and I just thought life would, my husband and I wanted to have three children. We're going to have three children. We got married 5 years later. We had our first child. And then a couple of years later, we are going to have another one. And it didn't work that way. And I mean, I knew that there were issues in life, but I had no idea that there could be fertility issues. And
right,
it was just the early days of fertility doctors coming out to the world. In fact, most of my testing here in the city was not with fertility doctors because they didn't really exist yet.
right.
But what it did is it showed me that just because we have a desire for something and a longing for something doesn't mean that that's what's going to manifest for us.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so I've learned that
That's
there.
that's powerful right there, what you just said. Just because we have a desire for something does not mean that's what's going to happen. Wow. Go ahead. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, it's really fine. It's really true. You know, what ended up happening for me was I um, really worked with my grief and my loss and was able to really help people, I believe, because I understood what other people's grief was, not just from losing
Right.
children, not just from losing pregnancies, you know, and there was no talk about that back in the day. Now they have a day where you celebrate, you honor yourself, you know, if you've had a miscarriage. I mean, it's a whole different world now. But
Absolutely.
just learning that there is a way to be resilient and, you know, what else am I supposed to do? I really knew that I could help other people with their suffering in a certain way. And, you know, a lot of people think that because those of us that are successful have had it easy. I think a lot of us that are successful have not had it easy, and we keeping on, you know, keep
Right.
on being resilient, allowing ourselves to fall down, get back up, and wake up to being the best me that I could,
Right.
all along the way.
Right.
And
I think that's wow, that's another powerful statement because what people often see is the finished product. And that's why it looks like that person is flawless in their stage of success.
yeah,
But the journey that it takes most of the time, if not all of the time, to get to that appearance of success and flawlessness appearance comes from going through pain and adversities and learning and, like you said, adapting and becoming aware and keep and at the same time keep on going. And I can attest to that too, because even in the process of this podcast that is just now starting to show um, some light, if you will, with my viewership and my subscribers. It's, it went through a stage where it seemed like no one was listening, but I kept going because I knew this is what I want to do. It's something that it's a passion of mine and something that brings me, not only is my passion, but enhances my experience to be able to engage in dialogues with amazing people from different, you know, um, places, uh, economic, race, background, just to talk to people and learn and share is amazing. You know, such as yourself. Just today, this is I love doing this, and even though I do want to desire for this to be more and more successful, and what I mean by that, to reach more and more people, and of course to be compensated. That's not my main focus, though. But at the same time, back to your point, it's not just an easy journey, and a lot of times people when it's made to look like that, like you said, when people see that, like I just said, people see that finished product, it's like, oh, they don't have any problems, and it's like even when you get to the point of what many might consider success, or even yourself, you're still going to go through things. You're just better at, I don't really want to say hiding, but better at dealing with things.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and that's amazing. And I can't imagine, just if I might add, what it would feel like um, as a woman, because I know how complex, especially the woman's body is to go through not just one, but multiple miscarriages. I can't even fathom how Um,
It was a
yeah.
bad time.
Oh
Bad
yeah.
time.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, just to put it short, I'm sure that was very yeah, yes.
It took me through a whole decade, through all my, because I didn't give up on having a child until I was like early 40s. So
Right,
this when it started in my, well, I gave birth to Josh, I was 29, and then I started to have the miscarriages, say at
right,
30, 31, 32, something like that. So, I get pregnant, I live, blah, blah, blah. So, it was just a whole decade of trying to figure things out and growing up in many ways too.
right. And like you said, excuse me, another thing is going through such traumatic experiences and adversities has strengthened you to be able to help other people because now you have experience of going through these things and you can help to support and let other people, other women in this particular subject matter, that they can make it through even though it's hard. So
I mean, I work with men also, but
right,
I
right,
would I would say that, like in the class I teach, we just taught all weekend, you know, I would say probably 4/6 of the classes. So it's that 2/3 of the classes, women,
right.
and a small amount of men. And my co-teacher's a man, so it's me and a
Well,
man.
so just to elaborate a bit on that, you do classes, and now is this online? Is this in person? How does this work? And how
Oh,
do
it's
people
yeah, yeah.
join in with these classes or find out about
Yeah. So this is a very intense course that I've been teaching for about 20 years. Uh, and the school is called the Society of Souls, which
it? Right,
is the School for Non-Dual Healing and Awakening. It's based on Kabbalah, Buddhism, quantum physics, Western psychology, and some things that I forgot to say, but it's profound, it's beautiful, um, and deeply, deeply healing. So Jeff's my co-teacher. We've been teaching for the past many years a 4-year intensive program with people that are deeply committed to spiritual awakening. And we just finished 2 days ago, the end of the 3rd year. So they learn all different kinds of uh, spiritual practices and healings that they could do with others, and a community starts. So it used to be in person.
right.
Then we were going to start this class. We were going to start in October of 2020. It's like, looks like we're not going to be coming out of our houses for a while.
Right, right.
So
Yeah, that changed the course of a lot of way people do business and amongst other things, 2020.
it was crazy. So he said, "Oh, I guess we have to do this online." So
Right.
we started giving different seminars online, and then we started the intense class in, I think, January of 21. So it's been online um, for 3 years.
Okay. So how do they find that? They go to your again, go to your link to your website, and that's how they
If
find that.
they go to my website, there's
Right.
information about that. I have
Okay.
information about all the different things I do. If somebody wants more information specifically about the school, just email me. My email is in there. And I could direct them to the school because
And
they're
while we're
open.
here, audibly, for those that are listening, um, can you give us your website address? What is it?
It's my name.
Oh,
So
okay.
eileenmardermerman.com.
Okay.
So it's good to go to the show notes to see how to spell my name.
Okay. Yes. So yes. Okay. Go to the show. Go to the
The show
description
notes.
of this segment, and you'll, and like I mentioned earlier, that the link to Eileen's website will be in there. So just click right on that and find out about these classes and her amazing book as well. So
Yeah, I have the book. I have some classes that I put together based on the book for women. The other course, the 4-year intensive course, is for people of any sexual orientation and any religious background. We don't care. It's about working with people who
Right.
are longing to be whole and freer and spread that into the world. So
Yes, yes, yes. When you mentioned a few just key words that just stuck out to me when you were mentioning some of the things that the class entails with the quantum physics, and yeah, I've read several books on quantum physics and Buddhism and things like that. Yeah, that yeah, I have a lot of Buddhist statues here in my home, and yeah, so that intrigued me. So I already, yeah, I know that it's deep. You guys deep dive and
yeah,
amazing.
it's wonderful. It's all wonderful. All the work that I offer to people is wonderful um and hard work.
Right, right. Amazing. So I think we have time for one more question. We're down to about 7 minutes, but I want to ask you, what was the most important lesson you learned on your journey to authenticity?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Let's see. I would say,
Or one of the most important lessons?
something about honesty, to
Okay,
be honest with myself about who I am, how others are, how the world is. Even if I don't like it, it's okay. And
right,
by being honest with myself and then being honest with others, there's something magical that happens. It's not like in Peter Pan and you're not like Tinkerbell and just, sprinkling all the goodies all around. But there's a freedom, there's a freedom of being open-hearted and honest and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to know when you're making mistakes, allow yourself to know when you're tired.
right, right, right.
Take a
No,
break.
yes, I agree totally. And just like what you expressed, uh, you showed an example of that by saying, it stood out to me when you're saying, oh, I was angry at this time or whatever. I'm going through this. It's like, yes, it's okay. That is okay. You don't have to beat yourself up or try to um, hide that even from yourself that you're going through these things or you're experiencing these emotions or something has triggered those certain things within you because that's embracing your humanity in my perspective. And
Oh, completely. I agree with you 100%.
yes, amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you today, Eileen. And before we conclude the segment, is there any last thoughts, words, anything you would like to share before we
Oh, let's see. I would say just, you know, just keep waking up, develop your intuition because it's a natural part of who you are, and don't don't create too many waves. Just slowly become who you are and integrate it into your life, and one day at a time. And you don't have to be in 12 steps to do that.
absolutely. Thank you once again, Eileen, and thank you everyone for watching and or listening. Be sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, share this video everywhere, leave comments, let us know what you think, if you or any questions, and be sure to check out the website, my website, 333empower.com as well. And also don't forget to look in the description of this segment and find out more about Eileen and the link to her website, her book, her classes, and whatever else she has going on. Thank you very much. Love and appreciation to everyone. See you soon. Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved.